You're leaving 90% of the power of AI at the table if you're just using it as a Google search. You can really turn AI to become your personal leadership coach and use it for different things such as self-awareness, decision-making, team performance and delegation, as well as when you want to do a strategic communications. Today, I'm going to walk you through 4 prompts that I built, and these are really big, complex prompts that you can just copy paste and use it. The link is in the description. These prompts, you just have to add your input in a tiny, few lines. What I want to mention here is that you can use it on all the platforms, and I tested it on all the platforms from ChatGPT, Claude, DeepSeek, Perplexity, and Claude. When it comes to this type of leadership prompts, I would suggest to use Claude. I'd say the results is probably 10 times better than all the other platforms, because somehow the whole AI engine behind it is trained to manage more nuances. And so it makes it more suitable for things such as business, strategy, and leadership. The first prompt is the blind spot analyzer, and that's where you can leverage AI to become your personal coach for self-awareness. In reality, lots of times we intend something, but the experience of others who are the receiver of that intent might not be exactly aligned with our intent. And as this gap is larger, that's really where the trust dies. So as an example, you go and give a feedback to someone in your team and you have all the good intentions. You want to challenge them directly so they become the better version of themselves. In the meeting, everything goes really well and they seem to be really open to your feedback. But in the next few weeks afterwards, you notice that they're avoiding you and their productivity really drops sharply. And you wonder, what did I do in that meeting that created this issue? Here's where you can use this prompt. So you can write, act as an organizational psychologist specializing in leadership development with 20 years of experience coaching executives. I need you to help me identify blind spots in how I'm showing up as a leader. Then you're going to explain your situation, what happened. An example of it could be, I gave feedback about missed deadline. She seemed fine in the meeting, but now she's avoiding me and her work quality dropped. And obviously, if you explain more, you're going to see better output of the AI. The rest of it is just a copy paste for you. You're basically asking AI to identify 5 areas: behavior gap, assumption audit, team perspective, pattern recognition, and immediate action plan for yourself. And at the end, you say, be direct, I want honest feedback. You basically don't want the AI to sugarcoat things for you. The second prompt is the decision debiaser. And that's where you're going to use this specific prompt for your strategic decisions, especially when the stakes are really high and you want to make sure that you do an audit of your own human brain biases and mental shortcuts, and that you also included all the different perspectives and angles before you go in with a really massive decision. Act as a behavioral economist and organizational strategist specializing in executive decision making. I'm facing a decision that feels important and I need you to challenge my thinking before I commit. And then you want to explain a little bit about your current thinking, such as, what's your gut telling you to do? And then any context that you want to add, such as if you have any timeline pressure, if you have any stakeholder expectation, what's at stake if you're wrong with your decision? And the rest is a copy paste. You're basically asking AI to identify your bias, do distortion analysis, any alternative perspective, decision framework, and then pressure test questions, and also identify any red flags. And at the end, you basically say, challenge my assumptions, show me what I'm not seeing, be direct about where my thinking is weak. One of the benefits of going through this prompt is because it really questions you. At the end of the day, whatever decision that you come up with, you have so many justifications, reasons, perspectives that then you can explain it for your management or for your stakeholder if it's a decision that you need to make for a project, as an example. The next prompt is the delegation optimizer, and that's where you can focus on team performance. You basically want to do an audit on what are the things that you're doing and to what extent, and what are the things that each of the team members in your team are doing. Do they have capacity to take on more? Are they assigned to the right type of tasks? Are they empowered and have the authority to move forward with their own items, or are you the bottleneck when you have to be hands down in everything that's happening in your team? Because the result of that kind of a structure going to be basically you as a manager to be burned out and your team not being empowered to make the decisions and do the things that they should do. You're going to ask AI, act as an expert in organizational design and leadership development, specializing in delegation frameworks and team capacity optimization. I need help building a delegation system that actually works. one that frees up my time, develops my team, and doesn't create chaos. Then you're going to talk about, this is where you put your input, your current situation, your team size, your role, the problems, such as I'm working 60 hours a week while my team waits for me to review everything, whatever the main problems in your team is right now. And obviously you need to be very honest about these things. What I'm currently spending most of my time on. And then here you need to do your team breakdown. You need to tell their names of, it doesn't have to be their real name, their role for each person, what's their key strength, what's their development area, what's their current workload, what's their career goal, as well as the level of trust between you and that specific team member. And then you basically copy paste this piece and you're asking AI to audit your workload, create a decision authority matrix, to do a delegation matching. You're going to ask for handoff scripts, check-in systems, and failure protocols. And you ask AI to be specific about who does what, how to hand it off, and how to stay connected without undermining their ownership. The last prompt is a strategy communicator, when AI can help us with our stakeholder management. And we always say that most of leadership problems are communication problems. When we as leaders fail to communicate something to our teams and to our stakeholders with enough details at the right time, with the right tone, and that could create resistance and then create chaos, and all the bad things would happen after that. So in this prompt, we're going to leverage AI power to help us put together the right message if we are going to announce a reorg in our team, or a change, or a pivot in a strategy for business stakeholders. We're going to ask AI to act as a strategy communications advisor with expertise in change management, executive communications, and stakeholder influence. I need to communicate something important, and I need the message to land clearly, build trust, and drive the outcome I need. Then here is where you're going to put your input, and you need to be specific. If are you doing a reorg? Are you delivering critical feedback? Who I'm communicating to? And the last input is their current state. What do they do now? What's their model relationship with me right now? Then you will provide the context, such as what happened, why it matters, your desired outcome, if you expect any resistance, and if you have any constraints. So if it's the messaging about some sort of a project, what are the political dynamics, any timing pressures, and then the tone that you need for that messaging. Do you need a confident by empathetic message? Is it a direct and transparent? You can choose from the ones here, or you can describe if the tone that you need is not mentioned here. And then you basically copy paste the rest of it, and it's going to craft the communication with the structure of the communication, drafting the actual message, landmines to avoid, objection handling, delivery strategy, and credibility check. And then at the end, you basically ask for AI to be direct and not sugarcoating. So as an example, if you want to make some changes in your team, and that would require 2 weeks of training for your team, and they're already at capacity, if you don't take advantage of this prompt, you might go and communicate it in a way that would create resistance. But with the help of AI, you can put together a draft that you would ensure that messaging would land well, and the team can see the long-term benefit of the change that you're introducing. And if you want to learn how to become even more effective when it comes to your communication, watch my next video when I summarize the book Never Split the Difference, when I walk through the different techniques that you can leverage to make sure that you can win in your negotiations.